In this video, I'm going to be covering every gun that is effective in Civ.io. At this point in time, it'll probably get outdated at some point, but right now I can't find any recent new videos within even the last year, so I decided to make my own. I've separated each gun into 4 different categories based on how good they are. Most of these things are opinions, but I have made it as objective as I can to make sure that it's not entirely based on opinion, mostly like just stats, comparing stats, and how to really just make it work here. So we're starting, there's 4 different categories, as I said. So level 1, this is starting at the worst things and going up. So first up is the M1911. It's a semi-automatic 45 ACP pistol. It's not that good. I don't say it's worth using. Only 7 rounds, low damage, it's a little higher than the M9, but really isn't that good or worth it. You can dual wield it, but even then, unless you're playing mobile, really isn't that effective. Next up is the M9, very similar to the M1911, but it's has 15 shots and runs on the 9mm ammo. Also can be dual wielded, but it has really bad accuracy. Also pretty low damage. It's not worth using unless it's the only thing you can use, and even then, really, it won't do much with its bad accuracy. Everything, it just doesn't make it that good to use. The M9 Curse is only in the Halloween event, and you cannot drop it. The reason that it's better than the M9 is because it has infinite ammo, but it also, you can't drop it, which is also pretty bad. Other than that, it can be used, and you can have infinite ammo with it, but still, not really that good. Next up, the OT-38, common pistol. It uses the 7.62 or blue ammo. Only 5 rounds in it, and it shoots fairly slow. It has pretty good accuracy and does pretty good damage for a pistol. Better dual wielded because you'll have a faster rate of fire, but it's pretty common. So if you want to use it, use it. Otherwise, drop it. Next is the OTS-38, extremely rare for some reason, only from golden airdrops or the Crimson Ring Crate on some occasions. It's pretty much always in duels. It's basically the OT-38, but suppressed, silenced, so really nothing to get too excited about. The G18C, fully automatic machine pistol. It's 17 rounds, 9mm ammo, and it doesn't do much damage, really. When dual-wielded, some people say it's really good, but it has really bad range because of how much spread it has. It fires extremely fast, especially when dual-wielded. It has the fastest rate of fire in the game at this time, so definitely effective in that mode. Otherwise, it really isn't that great. Next up, the M1100, 12-gauge shotgun, 4 rounds semi-automatic, and usually takes all 4 rounds to kill someone. It has a very wide spread and doesn't do too much damage, and has really small range too. The Peacemaker, it's an automatic pistol for some reason. Not sure why they did that, but it's 45 ACP and fires pretty fast, but it has very bad accuracy. It will do lots of damage though. If you can get close enough, it will do a ton of damage. Also can be dual wielded, and when dual wielded has the 12 round capacity, and should get pretty quick kills, but has a really long reload, longer than it really should be for what you're getting out of it. Model 94 is a lever action rifle. It doesn't do much damage, but it's pretty quick firing. For a sniper, of course. It's a 45 ACP, so only in the desert or savannah, but it's decent, but I wouldn't use it much. The UMP9 is common, and it's a 9mm. It's common SMG. It's a 3-round burst, and it's pretty accurate. However, it does have a big slowdown, which is one of its bigger downsides to it, which is why it's on the lower ends of things here. It's not too good in close range because of how accurate it is, but it isn't good for long range because it does decrease in accuracy over time. Best used in mid-range and to be dropped earlier in the game. M870, one of the most common shotguns, 12 gauge, 5 rounds. It does have the pump action, and you do have that slowdown in between each shot. However, it can get a one-shot kill on some occasions. That is helpful, but also sometimes you miss, and then you slow down, and then you get killed. Otherwise, try to quick switch it, because it does do very good damage and has pretty good range for a shotgun. The M93R burst pistol, 3-round burst, pretty fast burst. It's pretty effective when you're dual wielding, otherwise really isn't that great. But when dual wielded, it'll shoot really fast and do a ton of damage, so definitely a good option when you're dual wielding. MAC-10 SMG, high spread, 32 rounds, 9mm. It's effective in close range, but once you get out to the long range, it doesn't have, the shots don't even get out there, and they don't do too much damage. It's very common to find, and definitely good to use in close range, like in buildings and bunkers and stuff, but outside does not compare to some other things. Level 2, so that was, everything there was that first level of stuff that's common and really not that good. Level 2 is a little bit better than that, still lots of common things though. The P30L, I said that things would be common, but this is not common. There's one in the game, and it's very good. It has accuracy, insane accuracy, especially for a pistol. It's like perfect accuracy every single time. Semi-automatic 9mm pistol. It can only be found in the barn basement. It's in that back chest. It's it'll come out of that every single time. It does really good damage for a pistol, and definitely one of the best pistols in the game. The MP5, very common. The reason that it's this high, though, is because it does have actually good accuracy. Good accuracy, common ammo with the 9mm. The problem with it is it's low damage. It may have the low damage, but it's still very effective to use with this quick reload, and it's pretty common too. So if you can get good with this, you will have a good round. The M1A1, very similar to the MP5, but it uses the 45 ACP rounds. These, it's probably better because of its higher damage. It has the same capacity and a bigger spread, though. But in the desert modes that it replaces the MP5 in, I say that I prefer this over the MP5. It's just, I'd say, a better weapon. The Hawk 12G, it's only in the woods mode. It's very similar to the M870. I put it higher up on the list because I just think that it fires well. It has higher, I think it has higher damage, and I say it cycles quicker and just a little bit better in most ways. The Desert Eagle, or Deagle 50, it's a rare pistol, but I say it's one of the best. It's 7 rounds, semi-automatic, and is the only gun in the game to use the 50 AE rounds. It's most commonly found in the Deagle chest, which is in the mansion. It's in that secret room in the mansion. It's does very high damage and has good accuracy. The BLR-81, it's a 3-round sniper found on the Savannah map. It has good accuracy, of course, because it's a sniper, and it goes pretty quickly. It doesn't have the highest damage of all snipers, but it does have pretty good damage, and when it's quick too, so you'll be firing quicker. It only has 3 rounds, though, and uses the 7.62s, so you'll be reloading a lot, but it has a relatively quick reload. So good for if you miss lots of shots, but you'll be able to fire off more with this. The Mosin-Nagant is a sniper, and it's actually part of the original lineup for the game. It has a 5 capacity and does pretty good damage. It uses the 7.62 rounds. When it's completely empty, it'll reload in one big reload cycle, but when you only fired off a few, it'll reload single shots. It does high damage, but the biggest flaw to it is it's the time in between your shots. It'll slow you down a lot, and is very hard to come back from that. If you're slowed down, you're fighting something that has a faster rate of fire. Unless you're good at quick switching, I don't recommend this. but of course, lots of people that like snipers, they'll use the Mosin a lot because it's probably the most common sniper. The Mark G45, it's a DMR, and it's actually a pretty good DMR. It's has the semi-auto. It does lots of damage, and it's pretty formidable in most modes. It has 13 rounds and uses the 45 ACP ammo. Scout Elite can be found in the Scout Hut. The green hut on the map will have a Scout Elite in it each time. It's a 5-round sniper, quicker action, and definitely a better option to the BLR because it does very similar damage. The M39 EMR, it's a DMR with 20 rounds, so that's pretty good. It has a higher rate of fire because it's semi-auto, but it does decent damage, and it's just one of the basic DMRs in the game. The MK12 SPR is pretty much the same thing as the EMR, except it does a little bit less damage, even though most people do say it does higher damage, but damage per shot goes to the EMR. This has a quicker rate of fire, though. The SVD63 10-round DMR, very effective in the Savannah mode, where it's most commonly found. It only has 10 rounds, but it does do very good damage. AK-47 assault rifle, 30 rounds, very common, but it has good accuracy. The accuracy is pretty good for in early game stuff because it's probably the most common assault rifle you're going to find. I like to use it, but I'd actually prefer the MP5 for its accuracy. It does do higher damage than the MP5, and it is good for early round. M416, very similar to the AK-47, although it does have a faster rate of fire. It does not have the accuracy of the AK. It has worse accuracy and worse damage, but it has that fast rate of fire, which is why people take it over the AK. The Groza is usually the replacement to the AK. It does have a worse spread, but it does do higher damage. It's pretty common to find and uses 7.62s. Otherwise, I don't really have much to say about it. The FAMAS Burst Assault Rifle, 3-shot burst, and it's very effective if you're good with burst. It does have that slowdown like the UMP9, but otherwise it really is better in every way, except for the capacity. It only has 25 rounds to the UMP9's 30. It uses 5.56 rounds, and it does very high damage for each burst, and it also has a pretty good accuracy. Level 3 stuff. This is the stuff that's a lot rarer than the level 2, and I'd say is much better. First off is the M79 grenade launcher, one of the newest things to be added. It's fires those explosive rounds, but the 40mm rounds. However, they do travel pretty slowly, and you move really slowly while holding it. So I don't recommend walking around holding this thing up. Do make sure you can reload it when you can, because its reload is rather slow, and you will not have too many rounds with this, so make sure you make every shot count. It does do splash damage with each shot, because it's basically launching grenades at them, because it's a grenade launcher. The damage is extremely high, so even get them like right next to them, and they should be finished. Potato cannon. Potato cannon and the heart cannon are pretty much the same thing. Be found in special events only. I don't like them just because of that movement speed, and I don't know why. I just don't like to use the potato cannon. It does do very high damage, and the potato, yeah, it shoots potatoes, will travel pretty fast, and with surprising range too. The movement speed is probably the biggest drawback to it, but other than that, it has infinite ammo, and probably a good option. The R Blaster, or Rainbow Blaster, added in the Leprechaun update there. Now, why this is so low, because it does do insane damage and will get the kill almost every single time, because no matter where you hit them, it does do insane damage. This is the highest damage per shot in the game, higher than the AUM, higher than anything. It only has one shot, and it comes with one shot. The problem is you have to charge it up, and once you fire that one shot, the Rainbow Blaster itself just disappears. It's pretty common in that mode. I don't really like it because you have to actually hit your shots, which I'm not that good at, but maybe you like it because of that instant kill that it always gives you. The VSS is DMR, 20 rounds. I like it because of the because it's suppressed, and it does pretty good damage, and it doesn't even look like it's doing any damage because it just the silenced rounds and stuff, but it does do pretty good damage at 20 rounds, 9mm, and it's pretty rare though. Elite 6A2 556 DMR. It has 30 rounds, the highest capacity of any DMR, and it does very good damage. I say this is one of the best DMRs in the game because of that insane damage, and with that great capacity too. It's definitely one of my favorite things to use. The Vector 45 ACP style. This is found in the desert mode. Only has 25 rounds, but otherwise it has that insane rate of fire and pretty good damage and accuracy. The Vector 9mm, probably the more common one. This is the one that you think of when you think of the Vector. This is uses the 9mm rounds and has 33 rounds. It fires insanely fast with really good accuracy, pretty good damage, and you can get pretty quick kills with it. It's basically like a really good, it's like a better MAC-10. Bar M1918, LMG with only 20 rounds. Sadly, it only has 20 rounds. Otherwise, it does really good damage. I don't know why it's classified as an LMG because of that only 20 rounds, but it is an LMG. LMGs are my favorite class, but the bar is probably my least favorite of those. It does do really good damage, and lots of times will be pretty good, but it's in the woods mode, and sometimes it just isn't the best for clearing trees like most LMGs are. DP28, 60 rounds, the first LMG to be added in the game. It has meh accuracy and meh damage. I like it because of the 60 rounds. You can clear things pretty well, and it does take out many opponents lots of times. Scar H, assault rifle, 20 rounds, only 20 rounds, which is one of the downsides to it, along with its longer reload. However, it does do 15 damage, which is very high, especially for its rate of fire that it gives, and the accuracy. That's one of the best accuracies in the game, so definitely use this if you have enough ammo, and if you find it at all, really, it's definitely good to use. MP220, one of the still common too. It's in this level because it does of its insane damage. It has a longer reload for only 2 shots of the 12 gauge, so it does have that to it. However, it does do insane damage, and if you hit both shots, which will fire right back to back if you click them fast enough, it will defeat your opponent almost every time. Spaz 12, the thing that stands apart from this, makes this stand apart from all the other shotguns is its range. It also has 9 rounds and a pretty good range. It has tight groupings, so you will get you will be more accurate with it, and you'll have higher range. It's definitely one of the best shotguns in the game, and I definitely recommend using it. M1 Garand. It is a golden airdrop exclusive. It is an 8-round DMR using the 7.62 rounds. It does very good damage and has a alright reload. It looks similar to the Mosin Nagant, but it is, I'd say, better. It does very high damage, as I said, and it's semi-automatic and has 8 rounds of the 7.62. SB98, one of the best snipers in the game, most commonly found in its shipping container, the golden one, at the docks. It has 10 rounds, does very high damage, and does not have that annoying slowdown of the Mosin. It does have some slowdown, but not quite as bad. This is basically better than the Mosin in every single way, and will do a ton of damage if you have a good scope, and will definitely be very formidable in most places. The Groza S, the older brother of the Groza. It's very similar to the Groza, except for the fact that it has suppressed rounds and a better accuracy. It's best used in mid-range because it's a little bit longer. It doesn't have that super good accuracy, but it does have good accuracy, decent accuracy. So I like to use it, and it's can only be found from the Crimson Ring crate. Level 4, this is the Masters of Everything. These are the best weapons in the game. And this section was definitely the hardest to rank because of how good the things are in this section. First up is the Spud Gun, only to be found in that silo inside in the potato mode. Once you have it though, it's very unique. It has 30 rounds and infinite ammo that you get with it. It fires pretty fast, but the main thing about it is that once you start hitting your opponents, they start getting bigger and slowing down. It's a pretty good advantage once you're hitting them, and once you're hitting them, at that point they're slowing down. They can't really get away, and you kind of have them in your trap. So definitely a very good thing to use. Mark 20 SSR. It's a 10-shot DMR using the 308 subsonic rounds, so very rare ammo, and you can't hold much of it. However, it is a DMR, so it's semi-automatic, and does a lot of damage. It can be like a 2-hit kill at times, and it's in the Savannah mode. It can be found as ground loot in the Savannah mode, and it's definitely best used to mid to long range. Doesn't fare too well in close range, but definitely is a very good option. It does insane damage, and yes, very good to use. AN-94, 50-50 given to the blue team leader. It's a 2-round burst, 45-round assault rifle. Does very good damage, has fast bursts, and I like it because of its higher capacity too, 45 rounds. So definitely a good option if you can find it at any point. That's found in the desert mode under one of those statues there, or if you get it as the blue leader. Super 90. Kind of like the brother of the AN-94, even though it's nothing alike. It is the red leader's weapon and has 8 rounds. And it's classified as a shotgun because it uses the 12 gauge rounds. However, it does not have any spread. It uses those slug rounds, so it'll fire similar to the Mark 20 SSR, and it does very good damage with those 8 rounds that it has. I like to use it, and you will also be able to find that in the desert mode under their statue. The USAS 12, it's going to be found in the woods mode, either in airdrops or in the hatchet crate. It has exploding rounds and will fire out as far as you hold your mouse out there. So watch out for that. If you're holding it close, then it'll explode right in front of you. It does very good damage because of those explosive rounds, but make sure you don't be hitting yourself with it. It's hard to use in bunkers because lots of times those are close quarter battles, and this really is not good for close quarters. The Saiga 12 is definitely one of the best, and I'd say the best shotgun in the game. It has 5 rounds, automatic shotgun, just like the USAS. And does have regular spread. It has regular shotgun stuff, but it's automatic and easy to use. It has a fairly quick reload, and will take out your opponents lots of times because of that fully automatic. It's definitely rare, but it seems to be more common than it used to be. So when you find this thing, you should be good with it. The M134. This is the minigun. It's insane. It has 200 rounds and insane rate of fire. Perfect accuracy. And it's sometimes either classified as garbage or the best. I classify it in the middle. I say it's really good if you know how to use it. With its good accuracy, it does come with those, with its good rate of fire and good accuracy, it does come with the 2 big flaws of having the slow movement speed, large size, and of course the, long reload. It has the longest reload in the game. However, it is very effective if you can land your shots. It also scares your opponents off because of how insane it looks. So yeah, use it if you find it, unless you don't like it, but I recommend using it. Now is the AUM-S. It is the ultimate sniper, the god sniper. 5 rounds, subsonic rounds. Uses the subsonic ammo. It has a slower moving projectile, but it does do insane damage and most often is a 1-hit kill. Definitely, I don't use it as much because, first of all, you can barely ever find it. It's a golden airdrop exclusive, but I don't really care for snipers because I don't like them. This one definitely is a sniper that I would pick up, though, because of its insane damage. It also kind of scares people sometimes because then they think they're about to get one-shotted, so either they run away or they try harder to fight, and when they try harder to fight, you beat them. and that's kind of funny. Next up is the PKM. This is a 100 round LMG. It's a Woods mode exclusive and is extremely rare. I've only used it in the potato mode, and I think it sound that it makes when it fires is pretty cool. But it's not the best LMG, and definitely does not deserve its rarity that it has. It's extremely rare, way too rare, but it is good if you get it. It's good and it's very good, but it's not the best. The CZ3A1. Yes, we've gotten to the top 5, and here it is. Number 5 is the CZ3A1. It is a 30 round suppressed SMG, fires insanely fast, has one of the highest rate of fires in the game, and does very good damage. Uses the 9mm rounds too, so you can have the most of that in your pack. You got a full pack of 9mm, and it's CZ3A1, and you're pretty much set for game. It's a golden airdrop exclusive, but if you can get it, you should win. The M4A1S, very similar to the CZ3A1, although it has that has a longer range and a better accuracy. Fires a little bit slower, but it does use the 5.56 rounds. It is suppressed as well, so it'll be firing those silenced rounds that you can't hear or really even see. Very effective because of its high damage. It shreds, and it's just awesome. It's definitely my favorite assault rifle. Now the QBB97, 75 round airdrop exclusive LMG. It has very good accuracy, especially for some of these other LMGs with those poor accuracies. This one has very good accuracy, along with a 75 round capacity. It's from airdrops is where you're gonna best find it, but I find it very effective to use at mid to long range. With the 75 rounds, you'll be able to outlast most other things in the game, and it does really good damage. Now the PKP Pecheneg, it is awesome. This is definitely one of my favorites ever. It's awesome. 200 rounds, very high DPS, but the accuracy is the biggest flaw to it. It has a pretty good reload speed for being an LMG, but the accuracy will take you down at even 4 scope range, 4, 8, 15, any of those scopes, it'll be effective, but it won't have the accuracy that it needs to put up against those other things with better accuracy. That's the biggest flaw to it, and if you can't hit your shots, you can't do the massive damage that it deals. However, if you do have it with a good scope, I guess the 4 scope range does work, and it's probably the best range to use the Pecheneg at, usually like final circles and stuff like that. It's definitely very effective, does insane damage, and really is good to fight off multiple enemies at once. Finally, the number 1 spot, the M249, the ultimate LMG, my favorite of all time. 100 rounds, very fast rate of fire, 5.56. The problem with it is its long reload. However, if you can get past that fact, it is very good and will destroy all of your opponents. With its fast rate of fire and good accuracy too, it really is something to scare off your opponents and outlast them and then destroy them. It's very good, however, it is extremely rare, rarer than the Pecheneg, and, yeah, it's extremely uncommon to find. However, if you do find it, you should be set. You just need a lot of 5.56 rounds.